Well, hello and welcome. And thank you for your interest in this documentary about Mensa of Northeastern New York, covering the years 2011 back to 1963 when the group was established. This is segment 2 of the part that covers the years 2010 and 2011. The documentary actually consists of 2 parts. The part we're going to look at now covers the time from November 2010 through December 2011. The other part covers the time from October 2010 back to December 1963 when the group was established, and we invite you to look at that sometime also. There are actually 5 segments in the part of the documentary that covers the years 2010 and 2011. We're going to look at segment 2, which includes information about the positions in the group that begin with the letters A through H. The segment 1 includes information through the introduction and by an overview, and a listing of some of the events of the group and some other interests of members of the group. Segment 3 will provide information about the positions beginning with the letters I through Z. It will also provide information about the communications used in the group and the numbers of members over the years. Segment 4 includes information about members of Mensa of Northeastern New York who also have positions in American Mensa or in the Mensa Education and Research Foundation. Segment 5 will have information about the nature and characteristics of American Mensa, the nature and characteristics of the Mensa Education and Research Foundation, the methodology that was used in researching and preparing this documentary. It will give credits and acknowledgments to the many, many people who contributed to the research and preparation of the documentary. It will give a focus to the heritage of Mensa of Northeastern New York. Also, it will include the reflections by the author after having done the research and preparation of the documentary, and it will have the conclusion.
Hi folks, my name is Rob Salkin. I'm the president of Mensa of Northeastern New York. I hold a variety of other positions in Mensa. I'm glad Leo's put together this documentary of our group, and you'll learn a little more about our group with this documentary. You'll hear about all the events that we have. We have Tavern Tuesday. We have a picnic in the park. We have games night. We have all sorts of other things that you'll hear more about. We also have a bunch of different officers you'll hear about. We have an events coordinator. We have a editor. We have a vice president. We have treasurer. We have all sorts of other things. And I hope you'll stick around and hear all about it. Thanks.
With regard to the specifics of the entries, we're going to look first at what and where is Mensa of Northeastern New York. How's it organized? What are some of the typical events? And what are some of the involvements of the members in other things than just the typical events of Mensa? We'll look very closely at the positions and see photographs of some of the incumbents. Of course, communications is important in any organization. But we look also at the members of Mensa of Northeastern New York who also hold positions at the National Mensa, both in American Mensa and in the Mensa Education and Research Foundation. Mensa of Northeastern New York is a part of American Mensa. The group was established in December 1963 and is now a mid-sized group of about 222 members. Its website is www.nymensa.org. At any time, you can check out the current events and characteristics and statistics about the group at that website. The group has hosted some national events. In 2006, it hosted a colloquium that is put on by the Mensa Education and Research Foundation. In 2011, the group hosted the American Mensa Mind Games. Also in 2011, the group hosted for the first time a regional gathering for American Mensa Region 1. The territory of the group is 61 miles east and west and 180 miles north and south. A lot of square miles. A majority of the members do reside in the general region of Albany, Schenectady, Saratoga, Troy. But we do have members throughout the territory, and we do have some area coordinators in different parts of the territory. When we look at the positions in Mensa of Northeastern New York, we see the usual kinds of positions. First, there are the elective positions and then the appointive. The appointed positions are very interesting because they change from time to time as the needs and desires of the members change. But the goals of all the positions in the Mensa of Northeastern New York are to meet the needs and provide opportunities for the members. Members in Mensa of Northeastern New York, as well as many organizations, have a variety of different talents. And a good part of Mensa of Northeastern New York is the continual striving to provide opportunities for the members to do things that will use their talents and meet their interests. Mensa of Northeastern New York, also called MONY, is organized in the typical way. The executive committee consists of elected and appointed officers. The elected are the president, vice president, and treasurer. The appointed are publisher and recruitment chair. There are a variety of appointed officers, and from time to time some of them change and others are on a continuing basis. We also have area coordinators in some parts of the territory, which is very large, and we have proctors. Sometimes we have a proctor coordinator, sometimes we have a testing coordinator. At any time, the full details about Mensa of Northeastern New York are available in the website, nymensa.org. Well, the first and primary elective office of Mensa of Northeastern New York is, of course, the president. Rob Salkin is the current president. He was elected president effective November 1, 2010. The president of Mensa of Northeastern New York, as with many organizations, is the chief. That is to say, he's the chief leader, the chief motivator, the chief supporter, the chief guider, the chief seeker of volunteers. There's a more formal title or concept of the president. The president is the chief executive officer of the group, is also the chair of the executive committee, and is the primary point of contact between American Mensa and the local group. The president is the person who sets the goals and has the leading vision for the group as far as activities and functions are concerned. When Rob became the president. His goals were to increase the administration of the Mensa admission tests by 100%, to increase the involvement of the members by 50%, and to increase the membership by 10%. These are certainly guiding goals and takes the effort of a lot of people working together to achieve. Area coordinators serve as individual members who can be the point of contact either for other Mensa members or for people outside of Mensa who seek information about Mensa. Walter Ulrich is an area coordinator for the Glens Falls area. Inasmuch as the territory of Mensa of Northeastern New York is so large, it is helpful to have area coordinators in different parts of our territory. The area coordinators can hold meetings and dinners and events. They can also serve as a proctor to administer the Mensa admission test in the areas for which they are the coordinators. Walter Ulrich is a proctor and so is able to administer the Mensa admission test. And he participates in the annual American Mensa Testing Month, which is held in the month of October. One of the dinners that Walter had in his area was attended by a past president of Scotland Mensa. Victor O'Valley was the area coordinator for the Plattsburgh area of our territory, up in the northeastern corner, and served from 2006 to 2011. A good long time for an area coordinator. Victor is a proctor, and although he's finished his term as area coordinator, he continues as a Mensa proctor. There were several events in the Plattsburgh area while Victor was the area coordinator. One that stands out was in 2010 when he participated with members from Mensa Montreal and also Vermont Mensa to attend a reenactment of part of the Battle of Plattsburgh that occurred during the War of 1812. This reenactment took place near Plattsburgh, and after the reenactment they all gathered for a dinner and talk at a local restaurant. Mensa has much to thank Vic for his long service and his continuing service as a Mensa proctor. Steve Hopkins was the area coordinator for the northwestern area of Mensa of Northeastern New York from 2006 to 2010. This is probably the part of our territory that has the least number of Mensa members in it. So it was very good for Steve to be there. He was an excellent point of contact for other members in that area, but also for members and organizations outside of Mensa. One of the things that Steve did was to host dinners both in October of 2007 and October of 2008 in Malone. This is the largest population concentration in that area, and the closest other area coordinator was in Plattsburgh. So Steve was in close communication with Victor O'Valley, who was the area coordinator in Plattsburgh. And also Victor in Plattsburgh was the closest proctor. We appreciate the work that Steve did, and when he finished his term voluntarily in December of 2010, we wished him well in his new endeavors. The newest area coordinator in Mensa of Northeastern New York is Diane Ryan, and her area of focus is Rensselaer County and Columbia County. As the area coordinator for those counties, she will have the same kind of functions as other coordinators. Hers will be a little different, though, because she is closer to the area of territory that has the greatest number of members. That is to say, the Albany, Troy, Schenectady, Saratoga area. So when she schedules events or motivates others to, then it would not far for other members of Mensa of Northeastern New York to attend. It's also easy for her to coordinate arrangements with the proctors to administer the Mensa admission test, and there are several places within the two counties where that can be done. Of course, it's easier for her to coordinate activities with the editor and a publicity coordinator because she's pretty close to where they're located. So all in all, this is a good thing for Mensa of Northeastern New York that Diane Ryan has agreed to serve as an area coordinator. Christopher Stroud is the area coordinator for the Southern Adirondacks. Chris has been area coordinator there since 2006, a good long time. He's well familiar with the territory because he has a camp right in the area. It's an interesting location, an interesting camp because it is totally solar energy empowered. Chris is also a Mensa proctor, so he's able to administer the Mensa admission test as needed, and also to participate directly in the Mensa testing month each year. His territory borders along Vermont and extends back into the overall territory of Mensa of Northeastern New York quite a ways, and is located about halfway between Canada and the southern border of our territory. We're very fortunate to have Chris as area coordinator in that part of Mensa of Northeastern New York. John Hornberger is a member of Mensa of Northeastern New York and is a person with many talents. From 2009 to 2011, John served as editor of the monthly newsletter of Mensa of Northeastern New York. It's called Moni Matters. The newsletter has been the main means of communication to all members of the group throughout the whole territory, and is still the center point of the information, even though it is now also displayed in the website of the group. John is the person who has pulled together the information and prepared the monthly listing of events, the reports of decisions of the executive committee, and other information and regular entries. The newsletter over the years has served as the major source of information about past people and events of Mensa of Northeastern New York. John made many improvements to the newsletter when he became the editor. It became very attractive and very vigorous and lively. It was so good that it received one of the annual Outstanding Small Group Newsletter designations by American Mensa. Rich Rakowski became the editor of the newsletter for Mensa of Northeastern New York in December 2011. In these times of excellent multimedia and instant communications, it's easy to get mixed up as to how best to communicate with members. But Rich knows this is the third time that he has been the editor of the newsletter of Mensa of Northeastern New York. We'll see more about that in the next slide. Of course, the newsletter is the main constant means of communication of these plans and the events of the Mensa group, but it is not and cannot be the only media. In this digital world in which we live, we must have more than one medium. And Rich is striking a balance toward that goal of getting all the information and news out to the members. And he knows that effective communication is essential in order to have the members participate in events and also to receive a value for their membership. Rich Rakowski became the editor of the newsletter of Mensa of Northeastern New York in December of 2011. And this slide is interesting because it shows 3 different times that Rich has been the editor. In September of 2000, he was the editor, and that's a decade before the current decade. And a decade before that, in August 1989, he was also the editor. Rich is the only person who has been an editor of the newsletter of Mensa of Northeastern New York in 3 different decades. And now he's serving information. He's in more than the paper medium. It's different each time he became the editor. Ben Kagan is the events coordinator of Mensa of Northeastern New York and has been in this position since 2010. As events coordinator, he is sort of a motivator and facilitator. He identifies possibilities for events, coordinates with others who have similar ideas or even different ideas, and helps them to put together events that would be good for varying members of the group. Not all members have to attend every event, but one of the functions of the events coordinator is to try to encourage different kinds of events that will appeal to an increasing number of members. And it is Ben's efforts and goals to continue to support the activities of other people involved in grading and creating events for Mensa of Northeastern New York, and to stimulate ideas and activities where he doesn't see any. He also would help to participate in regional events such as the leadership development workshops. One of the kinds of events that is very well attended and very well liked by members of Mensa of Northeastern New York are the games. John Hornberger is the games coordinator of Mensa of Northeastern New York, has been since 2008. John is a real gamer. That is a person who likes to play games. In his personal collection, he has 1,500 games that he's collected over the years. John is very active. He attends the Mind Games that are held annually throughout the country by American Mensa. And he was the person who brought about that the Mind Games event in 2011 came to Albany, New York, and was hosted by Mensa of Northeastern New York. John was the chair of that. But on a continuing basis within the group, John is well known for being the host of many games. He also encourages participation by members of Mensa of Northeastern New York in games events of other Mensa groups, and also at regional gatherings and at the annual gathering of American Mensa. John is very well liked in the group and very effective in everything he does, and especially effective in coordinating the games function of Mensa of Northeastern New York. The Gifted Youth Coordinator position is an important position in any Mensa group, including Mensa of Northeastern New York. However, it's filled in a manner different than most positions in Mensa groups. For the Gifted Youth Coordinator, the president or LOCSEC of the Mensa group nominates someone to the American Mensa office. Then they do a background check, and if it's successful, the application is acted on by the National Gifted Youth Coordinator, and if approved, then the person becomes the Gifted Youth Coordinator for the Mensa group. At that point, the Gifted Youth Coordinator gathers information and comes in contact with various groups and individuals who take activities that support gifted youth education or development. Could be teachers groups or homeschool support groups or other advocacy groups, or even government individuals. New York State government, for example, has had a gifted youth specialist from time to time. Of course, the Gifted Youth Coordinator would keep them informed as to what the Mensa group would be doing. There are plenty of resources available from American Mensa and the Mensa Education and Research Foundation. And then excellent one is the website mensaforkids.org. Also, there are various awards and other motivations from the Mensa Education and Research Foundation, such as the Excellence in Reading Award. The historian position is an interesting position, and the incumbent can have a lot of fun. Oh, by the way, I'm the incumbent, Leo Kellogg. All you have to do is write down what other people are doing, maybe include some photographs or videos. That's all there is to it. So when Leo became the historian, he had determined 4 goals. One was to create a documentary to show what people and events there were during the first 48 years of Mensa of Northeastern New York. And that's coming along pretty well. The second goal was to encourage establishment of at least one archivist position, who would preserve and save records and data, photographs, whatever, that could be used in the future, so that people in the future would know what's going on now in Mensa of Northeastern New York. His third goal was to encourage establishment by someone else of a member gallery, such as exists in the website of American Mensa and at least 3 other Mensa groups. His fourth goal was to encourage a commemoration of the 50th anniversary of Mensa of Northeastern New York, which will take place in 2013. Well, this documentary about Mensa of Northeastern New York was prepared by Leo A. Kellogg, who was the first ever historian of Mensa of Northeastern New York. The documentary is copyrighted for and by Mensa of Northeastern New York, and all rights are reserved. Well, here's a listing of all of the segments of the November 2010 through December 2011 part of the documentary about Mensa of Northeastern New York. When you're done looking at this summary, just go ahead and shut off your video. And we thank you for your interest in this documentary about Mensa of Northeastern New York. Well, hello and welcome, and thank you for your interest in this documentary about Mensa of Northeastern New York, covering the years 2011 back to 1963 when the group was established. This is segment 2 of the part that covers the years 2010 and 2011. The documentary actually consists of 2 parts. The part we're going to look at now covers the time from November 2010 through December 2011 of Mensa of Northeastern New York, who also have positions in American Mensa or in the Mensa Education and Research Foundation. Segment 5 will have information about the nature and characteristics of American Mensa, the nature and characteristics of the Mensa Education and Research Foundation, the methodology that was used in researching and preparing this documentary. It will give credits and acknowledgments to the many, many people who contributed to includes information through the introduction and by an overview and a listing of some of the events of the group and some other interests of members of the group. Segment 3 will provide information about the positions beginning with the letters I through Z It will also provide information about the communications used in the group and the numbers of members over the years. Segment 4 includes information about members. The other part covers the time from October 2010 back to December 1963 when the group was established, and we invite you to look at that sometime also. There are actually 5 segments in the part of the documentary that covers the years 2010 and 2011. We're going to look at segment 2, which includes information about the positions in the group that begin with the letters A through H. The segment 1, research and preparation of the documentary. It will give a focus to the heritage of Mensa of Northeastern New York. Also, it will include the reflections by the author after having done the research and preparation of the documentary, and it will have the conclusion.
Hi folks, my name is Rob Salkin. I'm the president of Mensa of Northeastern New York. I hold a variety of other positions in Mensa. I'm glad Leo's put together this documentary of our group, and you'll learn a little more about our group